Hey, it's Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and it's Thursday. It's January 12th. This will be our chart lesson for today, and this is going to wrap our week up. No chart lesson on Fridays. Um, really nice trading day. Lots of volume. Um, Big move down, and then we had a break here, new low, reversed, and then a big move back up. So um, we didn't as big as this move was today. We didn't end up trading down very much for the day. We closed down a little bit from yesterday, but not much. Um, Probably 8 points maybe. And consider we'd sold off almost 25 points at some point at one point today. And closing up down 7 or 8 points, not too bad. So nice move down and up. Quite a few trades a day. Volumes pick back up. So maybe we're going to start seeing some movement here. Could just be today. We'll just have to see. But let me back out. We'll talk about the trend down, the reversal, and then the trend back up. But when I came in, we'd already had this big leg down, and we were having a correction here. And you probably would have had a hard time finding the channel here at that point. Uh, there weren't a lot of points to find it. So you really had to wait until this formed here, and then I drew that across there and drug it down. And of course, when you find the center point, prices were bouncing there relatively um, consistently. So, but you really had to wait for this swing here to know for sure. And I wasn't sure if it wasn't, even after I drew it here and it fit. I wasn't sure. It really the same line fits up here, as you can see that. Um, so I really wasn't sure if it wasn't up there, but I believe this to be it. Right across here, it's a little spiking channel. We spiked down and went into this two-tiered channel, and you can see we overshot it here. We got that led to the break over on this side, moved to a new low, and then we reversed. So everything played out really well. But it took a little longer in the day to find the channel. You didn't really get it till after 8 o'clock when you had that second swing there. And even then, you might have played it off the highs. And, let's just look at it real quick. Let me show you something. Even if you played it that way, let's just change the color so it's a little easier to see. Make it brown. You still came up with the same thing. You still got your break in the same place and the move to the new low. So it doesn't really change anything if you did play it that way, using those first few closes there. If you copy that, bring it down. Only thing is you came up short here, but maybe it's really right there and you had a little overshoot here. And that still fits. So you could have seen that either way, and but you still get to the same spot. That's really what I'm trying to show. So let's don't waste any more time with that. Let's back out a little more and show you the trades. But anyway, we had this big move down. So of course I measured that leg, and once we started lower again, that's my first target. And you can see we actually went quite a bit further lower than that before we went sideways and got the break, and then made a new leg down to a new low and then reversed. So, but that would have been my first target I would have been looking for. But anyway, we're working down. We get a close outside here, a new low, and then we're working up. And so we're working up when I came in. And this is a little spike up in a channel, and you can see that it's relatively easy to see. You had a little close outside here, moved to a new high. We tried to go higher once, twice, it fails. We're going sideways a little bit there, but when you get that additional chance to go up in that big bearish bar, you can either go short one tick below that bar right there, or you can let it break lower and put a limit order back here where it would have triggered below these other two. And it would have come back and filled you all the same, so it works both ways. But when we come back here again and you get a little failed second entry long, it actually went higher and turned and went out the other side. I like adding on right there or entering again there. Um, and then look what happens. You try to go higher once, twice, and that's the first break of that little short-term line. And really this is a double top, so that again that's a failed second entry when it goes long. It's a failed second entry long when it goes higher here. So as soon as it breaks lower, it's a failure, and it broke lower right there. So that's why below that bar is where you'd go short. Then it comes back, a little breakout, pull back short. Notice that you got some support across there. And it breaks lower, comes back, gives you another big bearish bar. Um, you're looking for it to make a new low on this, probably than this right here. And plus, you're probably looking for a measured move is the main thing. So I really like that one. And then it drops a little more, and then it starts going sideways again. But look what happens. You're coming up. You can try to go higher once. You try to go higher twice. And then you try to go higher again. It's right off the big bearish bar, right off the trend line. That's why I really like that one. You could have considered maybe entering right here, but notice how you're going sideways there, and all those bars are stacked up. That would have kept me out of that. Even here, it was a little bit concerning, but with it coming off the key entry point, the main trend line, and being such a big bearish bar, and the fact that we weren't anywhere near a measured move, I liked it from there. And then, of course, you make a new low here. First entry short, second entry short. There's a second entry short there. Not a great signal bar. You're not back to the trend line. There's several reasons to be leery of that, but we're in a big downtrend here. This is a very strong downtrend at this point, and we're trending lower. And so you're really just looking for reasons to enter at this point. So you might have considered that one. I think you're better off to skip it. You actually get a little breakout pullback short right here. Looking for it to trade on down into the lower tier again. And that would have been a better place to enter. And then really you get that little short-term trend line. We pull back to it again and get this big bearish bar. The only reason that's not red is because we're so close to the lower trend channel line. You don't know that you're going to get an overshoot. It could have dropped down and touched and then bounced. So that one's a little aggressive. And then we just start going sideways here. What's really happening is now we've overshot the low side, so where are we likely going back to the upper side? Well, this thing is so weak that it can't even go up back to the upper trend line. It has to go sideways. And that's always a good sign to be looking for another short. When it's so weak that it can't go up, it just goes sideways back to the other side again. There's a second entry short here, but with that overshoot, generally what's going to happen is you're either going to overshoot the same amount on the other side like this, or you might come up that amount short. And notice we did come up about that amount short. So you might have even been tempted. Little 2-tick bar. Maybe there's 3 ticks there. I think there's about 2 ticks in that bar. So you might have been tempted to enter there. I would make that green. I think with us just coming off the low side and all the down movement we've had, we're way overdue to come back to the other side. So it would have worked. It would have been real low risk. So it's something to think about. But you get a little better entry here that's safer. Notice you're coming up. First entry, pull back second entry. But the main thing is it's a failed break out of what looks like a trading range here and a big bearish bar. You can't ignore already a big bearish bar like that in a downtrend. Would have been an easy scalp. You wouldn't have got anything else out of it. And look, notice what it does. It moves down, tests the. Once we came through that midline, it pulls back, tests it again, then runs up. And really, that's one leg up, two-legged correction, another leg up. But that's not a good enough signal bar up there. This one, maybe you consider, but I think you're better off to wait, and you do get a chance to go higher there in the lower high and a big bearish bar. Just go short right there. And you could have ridden that all the way down. You do get a little breakout pullback short here, plus that's a failed second entry long. Notice the new high, first entry long, second entry long, it fails. Look how bearish that is. Just go short there. And you get your new low now, and then it reverses. You actually get a reversal pattern right here, but you're still below the EMA and you're still inside that trend line. And so I was a little leery of it right there, but um, when it shoots on through and pulls back and gives you this big bullish bar right here and makes it a little higher double bottom, I like that for your reversal. You probably got shorts trapped here. And it takes off pretty quickly. Then it just kind of goes sideways. You get a little failed break out of that. So that's a failed break lower. I like that one just to catch it back up to a new high. I've actually got that a little low right there, probably a little high. And you get a breakout pullback long right here. So you might have even considered that one. I meant to mark that one green, but I forgot to come back. It's a breakout pullback long. I tell you why I really am hesitant to make it green, and why it's certainly not blue is it's too close to that high, which there's resistance all the way across there. Remember, you had this original resistance, and we're still finding resistance there and even right there. So that's why it's a breakout pullback long, because it breaks out of this little trading range here and pulls back, but it didn't find support on the high. It actually was in between there. So, and then this high is right here as well. So I'm a little leery of that one. Would have worked. It pulls back here and gives you a failed second entry short, but again, it's so close to that high. Again, that one probably should at least be green, and you could argue for it to even be close to blue, because it's probably going to trap people. But you were just so close to that line right there. That measured move up. You didn't really know where the line was going to be yet, other than measuring from here to here and then putting it the same. And of course, that's exactly where it was. And you pull back, you get a little break this short term on a couple legs up. You get another correction. The reason I like this one being blue is, notice you made a little lower swing there than what you had. Plus, it's a double bottom, so you can count it as a new swing low either way. Then you go up first entry short, second entry short, and then it reverses and you get that big bullish bar. That's going to trap some shorts, I guarantee you. People trying to pick tops. And it takes off again. And then pull back first entry, pull back second entry, right off the midline, and off you go again. You actually get a little breakout pullback again. This is almost a repeat pattern of here. But that's really your signal bar. It's not very good, so I think you skip it. And then there's one more. There's no reason you couldn't go long here. I didn't mark it. It's so late in the day, but it's really should be a regular second entry long. You're coming off the high, so there's a good chance you may be headed down. But, you know, this has been a strong trend up, so I wouldn't be afraid to take that one. Because you got the midline, the EMA, second entry long, nice bullish reversal bar, and of course you get just enough to get out of that one. That's the good thing about, you know, only scalping out for, you know, your 4 ticks, is you got exactly 5 ticks on that one, so you get just enough to get out, and then it reverses on back down. So, yeah, it was a really good trading day. Lots of good trades. You could have been pretty conservative and just waited on stuff to come back to the key entry points, and you'd have done fine. And that's usually what I recommend for people. Just wait on those key entry points. Don't try to get too fancy. Don't try to read too much into the price action. Just follow the basics of internet key entry points and using the trend rules and the range rules, and you'll probably do a whole lot better. So, but yeah, really nice day. It's been a pretty good week. Slow a couple of days, but overall it turned out it ended up being a pretty good week. We'll see what tomorrow brings. The week's really not over. It's over as far as our chart lessons, but as far as the trading week, we still got another day. So maybe we'll get another day tomorrow like we had today, and we could say it was a really great week. So, but anyway, I'm going to wrap it up. Hope you had a good trading day. Hope you've had a good week. We'll be back again to do it Monday. This is Mack with PriceActionTradingSystem.com, and we'll see you next time.